And there's big news coming in amid a strained relationship, to say the least, between India and China. The Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Chinese Defence Minister Li Shangfu will hold bilateral meetings in Delhi on Thursday. The bilateral meet comes ahead of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers meet that will take place in the Indian national capital on Friday. Now, this is a special meeting. Why? Because this is the first time that a Chinese defence minister is visiting India since the 2020 Chinese aggressive actions in Galwan at the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. 20 Indian soldiers died in that aggression by China. China, after much delay, accepted that it lost 4 of its soldiers, a claim that remains doubtful given Beijing's track record on transparency. All right, for more on this, we are now being joined over the phone line by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibbal. Siddhant, a big meeting coming up. Li Shangfu and Rajnath Singh, defense ministers, China and India, finally coming face to face after the Galwan incident. What can be expected from this meeting?
Well, it will be a significant meeting in every sense possible. The fact that a Chinese defense minister is here in Delhi since the Galwan incident is significant in itself. And essentially, India is going to reiterate what it has been saying, that when it comes to situation at the border, until it is not normalized, there will be no normalization in the relationship. We know how the Indian External Affairs Minister has several times pointed that relationship remains abnormal because of the actions by the Chinese in the border areas. And since the Galwan incident, India has banned many apps as well. Of course, decoupling is a big worry, especially on the trade front, but largely the relationship remains in a delicate zone. I do not expect major breakthrough in terms of the bilateral meeting. It is a bilateral meeting which comes even as India holds the SCO defense ministers meeting. In fact, the Chinese defense minister is here in Delhi primarily for the multilateral event, and on the sidelines he's going to have this bilateral meeting. But nonetheless, expectations will remain from the outcomes and the in-person meeting by the two ministers here in Delhi. In fact, Delhi will be a packed city for next 2 days. Not only the Indian defense minister meets the Chinese defense minister, he also meets the Iranian defense minister, the Kazakh defense minister. On the Friday morning, we will see the SCO defense ministers meeting taking place, and he holds a bilateral meeting with the Russian defense minister as well. So packed Delhi for next 48 hours, essentially, with a lot of defense ministers traveling to India for the SCO defense ministers meeting. But the focus remains on the bilaterals, including with the Chinese defense minister, where, of course, the relationship remains a worrisome in a worrisome terrain. In fact, on Sunday, we saw the Corps commanders meeting between the two sides. There were statements by both sides essentially calling for tranquility at the northern borders.
Siddhant, now, will there also be more focus on the recent claims that China has been making regarding Arunachal Pradesh, how they're already calling it a part of their own sovereign land, and how they were not happy with Indian Home Minister visiting Indian land?
Well, essentially, China has been making noise every time we know that there has been any visit by an Indian side to Arunachal Pradesh, but India has strongly dismissed that. So it is part and parcel of dealing with China. China has a tendency of taking claim to territories of many countries. India is no different. We know that how Chinese have been taking claim to large portions of the South China Sea, and that has been another cause of concern globally. But largely, when it comes to how China has been behaving in the last 2 or 3 years, we know it's a China which is a different China, the China that has been a cause of concern in global capitals, in the regional capitals. And when it comes to the Arunachal Pradesh issue, India has made it clear that it is integral part of India. And by coming up new names in Arunachal Pradesh, it is not going to change the reality. These are invented names and something that is of a provocative behavior that comes naturally for the Chinese Communist Party. So largely this is part of the usual stuff, I would say, when it comes to dealing with the Chinese leadership.
Thank you for all those updates, Siddhant. That was Siddhant Sibal, our principal diplomatic correspondent, joining us live.